So Stranger Things season 5 part 2 dropped over the Christmas holiday, and I have some thoughts. Specifically episode 7 and people's reaction to episode 7. In this episode, Will finally comes out as gay to his family and his friends in his close circle. He comes out because he is essentially afraid that Vecna will utilize this secret that he has been holding on to weaponize against him and his friends. It's something that he's been holding on to for the past couple of seasons that we can see as an audience. Keyword that we can see as an audience. And it was something that was really a struggle for him. So, me personally, I loved where they went with it. I love the fact that he was finally able to get this off of his spirit, his chest, his body, however you want to express it. But it was absolutely great writing. I love how they captured why it was important for him to sit them down and have this conversation. But where I have an issue with is the audience's reaction to it. Not everybody, but some folks. So there's some people out there that see it as unnecessary. You see comments on the internet saying as such. But let me give you guys a bit of education as it pertains to the 80s and what it was like for people who were gay, lesbian, and otherwise. So I was born in the early 80s. Okay. So by the time we get into the 90s, I became a teenager. All right. So there's a lot of things about the world back then that I think people have forgotten as it pertains to how people had to go about things if they were gay, lesbian, and otherwise. The biggest thing is that everybody could not be out in the open because there was a lot of hatred that was going on for people living the lifestyle. Not only were you teased, bullied, and things like that, people's lives were in danger, much like it is today, but it was worse back then, okay? And let's not forget the boom of AIDS that were going on in the 80s into the 90s. A little known fact that people don't know is that AIDS used to be called GRID, which stood for gay related immune deficiency. So not only were they not being treated like everybody else and being treated poorly, physically abused, ostracized, and otherwise, they specifically named a STD after them, which, like, when you really come to think about it, is absolutely insane. Because the thought process was that AIDS was just highly gay related. It started in the gay community, and basically, gay people were the only ones that were transmitting the disease. That was the thought process at the time. So, going back to Stranger Things, this scene was so impactful because if you go back in time and think about what it was like or how brave he had to be in order to have this conversation with people close to him, and the fact that everybody that he told in that moment accepted him, y'all have no clue how impactful that was. And this is more so for the people who basically want to ignore the impact of this and try not to understand why this needed to be a thing. So kudos to, the writers for writing that in. In general, it shows me that media literacy is still at an all-time low on life support. People miss, context in terms of the time period and what was going on. Like, there's so many things that are being lost in the conversation. And kudos to the people who are actually bringing it up into the surface and reminding people, like, yeah, no, stuff wasn't sweet for the community back then. So kudos to you guys, man. But I'm loving it so far. In terms of where they're going, I'm excited about the ending. Whatever we have in store for the last episode, man. So I'm gonna be tuned in. Hope you guys are tuned in. And hopefully we'll talk about it later.